Sports. Obviously, Noah Okafor has been confirmed. How do you feel he fits into your squad and lineup, and where do you see him playing?
Yes, first of all, we will see. So not one training session yet. So this afternoon he will be the first time involved. But yes, we spoke about that we want to bring some quality signings for our offense in, and Noah fits to this perfect age. Has also played for two big clubs, obviously in Italy before in his time for Red Bull Salzburg already on Champions League level. Player of high potential. He has more or less all the skills anyhow, and yes, we will also provide him with all the backing and also a good stage to find perhaps a bit more consistency in comparison to what he has done in the last couple of years. But if he uses his potential and is really focused and concentrated and with hard work, he has all the skills to make an important impact also on this level. And for that, we are all pretty delighted to have him with us from now on.
That's great. And in terms of other striking options, obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin came in last week. Can you update on his fitness and whether he might be involved this weekend?
We will see. I think each and every training session and training day together with the team is important for him. He had obviously a long summer break and then also a few weeks of individual training. So his general endurance is on a really good level. But what he has, of course, missed was team training, and for that, each and every day and each every session is important. So he makes a decent impression, I have to say. So really, really well integrated already, and you could see really from day to day he's growing. And when we will use him for the first time, we'll decide it then spontaneously. But he's also from the fitness point of view in a good shape and a great character. And it's good that with him and with Noah we have also two more options in the offense.
That's great. And in terms of other options, I mean, I know Justin was mentioned. In terms of other positions, have you got people you're looking at that or other positions that you're keen to improve?
Yes, we were quite open and honest about this. I don't speak about names and about any rumors, but we've spoken about that on the fullback position we could need an addition, and we have also spoken before these two signings anyhow that we would strengthen our offense. Yeah, let's see if we do perhaps even a bit more in the offense. One or perhaps two more signings would be beneficial. But right now, especially with this signings of Dominic and Noah, the big pressure is also a bit away, and we can concentrate right now also on working with the boys. But I wouldn't rule out perhaps one or two more signings in the offense. Yes.
That's great. And just finally, in terms of you were talking there about the pressure being off, I guess because you've got some names through the door. I mean, how are you finding the stress of the transfer market in terms of trying to improve your squad? Is it an intense time for you? Just to get an insight.
Yes, I'm used to it. Meanwhile, so here in England, in the Bundesliga before, it's always a bit tricky, especially once the transfer market is also open. Although the first game has already started, it's always a bit tricky. So my recommendation is always try to make your business as soon as possible. It's always beneficial for the manager, and then you avoid any panic reactions also in the last days, because if you are under pressure, then these last days could be really a bit mental. So for that, it's good that we have, I would say, major parts or most of our business already done, and we can lean back a little bit and can relax a bit more. Of course, our key people, yes, they have to stay awake till the last hour also of this window, because on this level you can never say never. And of course, it will be also a bit stressful because you always have to take decisions. But right now, I think we're in a good position, and our focus is on football right now.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
Hi, Daniel.
Hello.
Noah Okafor, what does he bring you that you don't already have?
Well, we have also a lot, but if you want to have quality, you can't have enough of it. Of course, he's a player who has his favorite position, especially on the left wing. At least that's where he played most. We had Mano Solomon with us in last season, and we have lost this player in comparison to last season. So it fits perfectly also from the position right now that Noah plays. He can also play as a second striker, or perhaps even as a bit like a false nine a little bit. He has played this role a lot. He has shown in the past that he can deliver end products, goals, assists, also on the highest level for AC Milan, especially in his first season. He has delivered a few. He has already scored also on Champions League level, so he has definitely the ability to do this. Really good pace, really good dribbler, really good in the offensive one-on-one. So strong player as well. So don't want to press him too much because he has not played one game. So let him deliver before. But like I mentioned, so from his skills, he has more or less everything to impress, and it's up to him. We just can bring him close to the door and can back him and can help to develop him and can also trust him and give him the chance, and then it's up to him to use it.
And seriously, would he be in consideration of being involved this weekend?
Yes, it's at least possible because yes, he was involved with AC Milan in the whole preseason. He has also featured also in the last weekend, at least for several minutes. So that means he doesn't need 3 or 4 weeks of build up to a game. Anyhow, let's see how the next 2 days will be, and then we take a late decision with him. But it's at least possible, yes.
And how's Ethan Ampadu after the sort of tackle or the challenge with his ankle? So he's to roll his ankle.
Yes, bad news with him. Sadly, the next games we have to play without him. So, MCL injury. He will definitely be out at least till the international break. I hope to have him back on the other side of the international break. So normally he's pretty quick after injury back on the training pitch, and he's also a tough boy. But obviously, it's of course a blow for us that we will miss him also in the upcoming games, at least in the 2 upcoming Premier League games plus the cup game. It's of course not ideal for us. He has proven his worth. Not just in the last game, but also in the last game where he was really, I think, exceptional. And of course, it's not ideal. He's our captain, also not just from his performance, but also in the dressing room and from the whole appearance and his body language. Always a very, very important player. One of our most important, if not the most important player for that. Of course, not ideal that he's out after this tackle, but it's football. Yeah, sometimes there is an injury, and we have to find some other solutions.
Daniel, I just read that the signing of Okafor has taken the Premier League spending to a new record. I think it's like 2.4 billion or something. And one of the sides that does spend a lot of money is Arsenal of that money. So the suggestion there is that they're not weak anywhere. So how difficult is it for your job? That's how they may be weak on Saturday.
Well, what you mentioned is also not up to us that we are responsible for the highest for the highest spending. So we are ambitious. That's right, and I think we have done some good transfer business so far. But it's also not we are the biggest spender also in comparison to what perhaps some other clubs, also some newly promoted clubs, have done in the last years. It's not extraordinary what we have done. So we try to do it in a reasonable and sensible way. Yes, but of course, nowadays the clubs, in order to be competitive, have to spend. Yes, and of course, Arsenal is one of the best clubs, not just in this country, but also in Europe. They have the highest ambitions, the highest demands, want to be there and to play for each and every title that is possible. It's one of the strongest opponents that you can meet, especially after such a first game day in a really good game against a really good Man United team, then a hard-fought win, and then if you then with this confidence travel back and have the first home game against a newly promoted side, then you normally play with euphorism. We know it's a tough place to go, especially in their first home game, and when they can concentrate also on this game, and there's no perhaps Champions League game that is disturbing, perhaps, or distracting a little bit in midweek. Of course, you would wish to have this fixture on a different date, but sometimes you can't choose, and it's probably our biggest test so far. But we've also proven on the first game day, but also during preseason when we faced sides like AC Milan, like Man United or Villarreal, that we are competitive in at least in one game, perhaps not over the course of a long season, but in one game you always have a chance, and we try to be there with good performance again and try to win as many points as possible. But we know also with their signings and the quality they had before, it's a tough test, and we have to be at our very best to give ourselves a chance.
Hi Daniel,
Hi.
Just carrying on from that, you say that Arsenal is going to be your toughest test so far. Obviously they're a very different side to Everton, How are you going to adapt? Are we going to see anything that's a little bit different?
Don't want to speak too much in advance about it because I'm pretty sure that our next opponent also will follow a bit what I say in public. But again, we won't sell our DNA in this Premier League season. It's not like we just will try to park the bus and just like I mentioned, put the ball in the stand. So I think if you just concentrate on trying to defend 90 or whatever, 95, 96 minutes, you have no chance to survive there. You have to make sure that you have as many periods as possible when you also control the ball, when you can recover also with possession and also let them shift and let them waste some energy against the ball. So we'll try to are there with as many periods as possible where we also control the game and control the ball. And I think it's also important to try to create chances, to scare them and to be dangerous ourselves and to play positive football and try to create chances and try to score goals. So for that, of course, there will be also periods in the game when we suffer and when we have to be well structured and really as a compact unit against the ball. Of course, I don't expect us to have as much as possession, like, for example, in the first half against Everton. Of course not when you travel away to Arsenal, but we will try it. And if the game develops in the other direction, then we have to show, of course, also our defensive steel and also the behavior that we've shown in preseason, but also on the first game day that we can defend our goal. We have hardly concede a chance against us in the first game day. And we try to do the same also in a difficult away game.
In that first half against Everton, you had quite a few chances. I think it was 12 shots, but only one of which was on target. So are you doing anything to try and be that little bit more clinical, especially against an Arsenal side who are so defensively solid?
Yes, so it's also important not to overinterpret statistic. Yeah, even if you put the ball against whatever the crossbar or whatever, it doesn't, or in the outside of the post, doesn't count as a shot on target. So for that, it's not like each and every shot that is not on target. Yeah? Sometimes it's blocked in the last moment or whatever. It's not like a poor finish. But yes, it's right. So I think we could have been a bit more clinical in the final third. I also spoke after the game about this is why we are also interested to strengthen our offense also in terms of the individual quality a little bit. And yes, I was pleased that we had in the first half such a dominant performance with, I think, in the end, 12-0 shots at halftime. I think after the final whistle, 21 shots in total. I think it's pretty impressive for the first game of a newly promoted side. I'm not sure if we are there with the same amount of shots also in the away game at Arsenal, but why not? And we try to deliver the same. But of course, I expect also that perhaps we will have a few less chances. And for that, it's more important also like to be effective and clinical when it comes down and that we also finish always with a clear idea and with being convinced and a clear purpose. And it's definitely, especially my offensive player, have to concentrate on, yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Daniel. When it comes to attacking options now, is there sort of like anything in particular position-wise you're looking at? I mean, in terms of wingers, there's obviously quite a lot of wingers now on paper. Would you think there's room for still one more winger? And following on from that, Jack Harrison obviously has been reintegrated now back into the group. What have you thought to him? Do you think he'll be an option now moving forward for the rest of the season?
There's always more room for quality, so I'm never afraid of quality. We have different types right now. That's right. I think also wingers who can deliver lots of workload and are also good and also against the ball, pretty disciplined in this role. Sometimes also wingers with an X factor, some very quick runners who are good in 1-against-1. Perhaps a bit this number 10 type of winger who can perhaps also, like in the game when we chase a game, could interpret the number 10 role also slightly different to what we've done in preseason once we played with our Tanaka or Sean Longstaff. Perhaps this number 10 type of winger would be also a good solution for our squad. So there's always room for quality player, and for that we also won't fall asleep in the upcoming days. Yes.
Obviously with Ethan Ampadu, you've not only lost a very good player for the upcoming games, also captain as well. Has anything changed with that in terms of the leadership group? Obviously there's a lot of new faces now this season, but are we still talking Pascal? And if so, how pleased were you with Pascal against Everton, because he was one of the best players, wasn't he?
Yes, I think he was outstanding, top performance. Really like a a colossus in the defense. So won many headers, but also Pascal very good on the ball, good in the build-up, important, also aggressive in defending forward, good leadership. He was in the last season outstanding player for us, and also has proven his worth. And of course, he's a big leader also in the dressing room. But it's nowadays not just up to one or two players. You need a core group who lead, and each and every player has to show responsibility. But of course, we have got a good group of leaders, and some of them are sometimes also not always playing or even always in the squad. I think also about our other defensive options, also like Jakabiol or Sebastian Bonneau, who are top characters, although they were not involved, also important in the dressing room. And also already right now a player like Dominic, who is experienced, has nearly 250 Premier League games, also with his confidence and his maturity. I think also when he speaks to a younger player, it's also quite important. So we have a good group in this terms, perhaps not in the old-fashioned way when there was one big leader who leads the whole group. Nowadays it's a bit more core group, and I'm pretty blessed to have such a good group together with our boys. Yes.
Hi Daniel. Obviously with Ethan out now, who do you see as your defensive midfield options? Could Anton Stapp play there?
Yes, Anton has played there. Ilya Gruev has also replaced Ethan. I think really good in the last, whatever it was, 20 or 25 minutes on the last game. They're pretty impressive preseason anyway. Sean Longstaff is definitely an option. He's a bit more number 8 and not a traditional number 6. Ao Tanaka has played there a lot in the last season, of course, when it was also clear that we would have more the ball than perhaps to have there, like, to defend a lot. Of course, Ethan's a big miss. There is no doubt about this. We don't have to lie and to sugarcoat the situation, but we have players in our squad who interpret this role perhaps slightly different, and we'll find some good solutions.
You've got 4 left wing options now. I know Willie can play on the right as well. Obviously, Jack came onto the pitch on one day. Where does Larger Ramazani fit into your plans this season?
Yes, I think nowadays it's important for all the wingers to be flexible. Yeah, Willie has played more often for us on the right wing, but of course he can play on the left wing. Jack, for us, in his more or less first part during his Leeds career, has played very often on the left wing, or also right now as a substitution. But for example, on the last game day for Everton, he has played on the right wing, can do the same. With Daniel James, more or less the same. So I think nowadays you don't have a specialist as a winger who always played on the right side or on the left side. Yes, perhaps if you have a really special player like whatever, earlier years, Arjen Robben, who always docked inside from the right side. But I think all our wingers are flexible, largely as well. He can play the left wing, can play on the right wing. He can play on both sides. And for that, it's always up, how the setup of the opponent is, which strength we want to use, also which fullback plays on the side. If it's more like a fullback who stays a bit deeper or he goes higher, I think this is what you have to take into account, and also what happens on the training pitch, how impressive they are. So we switch also on the training pitch our wingers quite often, and largely can also play both sides. For us, he has more often played on the left side, but he can also play on the right side.
Hi Daniel, you've spoken over the last 2 years about how unfortunate it was at times that you maybe have Patrick unavailable because of injury. Availability is a very, very important thing. So when you've added Lucas, Dominic and Noah, what would you say to any fans that are anxious about their respective injury records and the real possibility that, say, all 3 could be out at the same time?
Yes, there's no guarantee. If you would have a player of the caliber of Dominic, for example, who would have been in the prime season last season, then he would be affordable for a newly promoted side. That's definitely for sure. Because if you have a player in this age and with this quality and already proven on the top level with 60 Premier League goals and 11 appearances for England, you normally don't get him as a free agent. That's part of the truth as well. And for Lucas the same. He had an unbelievable season for Wolfsburg. Went into the German national team as a starter, as number 9. We got him as a free agent. Of course, it's a bit tricky, but this is also why we signed both. So for that, we hope that at least one of them is also available. Joel Pirot, touch wood, so far always more or less available. Anyhow, this also gives us a bit of relief there. We have with Noah right now also a player who can also play in the number 9 position. So I'm quite confident that we have always a quality winger, striker also available. And yes, at the moment. All 4 are on the training pitch. That's even better. Also, I back our medical department, also our sports science, and also our training regime that have also proven this in the past. There were also a few concerns once we signed Manu Solomon. Yes, and thank God we did. And everyone said, oh, it's too risky, it's a gamble. He was out for such a long time. Yes, and he went as our promotion hero. So there's never a guarantee that it works out in the same way. Or when we came, it was like, oh, Junior Philp was always out anyhow. So yeah, he was always available with us. Or Sam Byram anyhow, no, he's never available. He's more or less, since he joined us, always available. So I would beg us also to look after the players in a proper way. And what we do also like in terms of invest around the training also to make them available. I think it's on a top level. Credit goes to our nutritionists, to our physios, to our sports science. I think they're doing an outstanding job, and for that, with all the strength that we have meanwhile as a group, I think we are also capable sometimes to go for a bit more risky signing in these terms. But if you're a newly promoted side and you can't spend just 60, 70, 80 million pounds yet on just one player anyhow, then you want a quality player with high potential. Sometimes you have to go down this route. Hopefully we can develop as a club that we can also do some 70, 80, 90 million pound signings in a few years, but we are not there yet, and for that we have to go a different way. And yes, so far so good, I would say, and I think we're on a good path.
Over the 2 years we've got to know you, you've enjoyed keeping a winning team together. I think if a team does well and they do well for you and they impress you, they keep their place and you show faith in them. You've also had a very, very good win on Monday nights, but as you've already alluded to, Saturday's quite a different test. So how do you balance the need for momentum and retaining confidence in those starters with the tactical demands of how you need to change things to combat Arsenal?
Yes, of course, you have to take both into account if you need the same players or different players on the pitch, but it's always a good recommendation. It was 30 years ago and will also be in 30 years. It's more like this old quote, never change a winning team. So it's more or less like always, yes, of course, more or less like you have to think about man management and also to keep the group also happy. But on the other hand, it's also professional football and everyone wants to play. And as well, right now, also like slightly easier in comparison to the championship in terms of the workload. Yeah, if you have a normal week, so as a professional footballer and you're looked after it, and everyone is concentrated on top nutrition and good sleep. Anyhow, if you're not capable to play one game per week, then we would do something wrong. So in terms of this, it should be definitely possible also to play at least once per week. But what you have to take into account is more like if there are different tactical necessities, if you want to change, for example, the base formation or the way you want to play, and this is what you take into account. Apart from this, I would say nowadays, if you can't play one game or 5, 6 or 7 days, you would have a problem.
Thank you.
Matt?
Daniel, can I just clarify, are you still looking for 2 offensive players and a fullback? Or is it 2 more players, 1 fullback and 1 more offensive player?
Not too strong with my thoughts about numbers. So what I mentioned, I think it's necessary to do something on the fullback position, and then also like the big pressure is a little bit away with the signings of Dominic and Noah. I think they are really, really good options for us in the offense. But to have 1 or 2 more signings for the offense, if we could do this, would be beneficial, but without doing anything stupid. So right now we can have a look a bit more relaxed.
And also, Ethan's injury, did you say it was ACL?
MCL injury, and for that, yes, he will definitely be out till at least the international break.
Okay, we're going to move on to the embargo section. If we can turn cameras off, please.